The rain had been falling for hours, turning the narrow forest road into a winding ribbon of fog and mud. Tessa Cole tightened her grip on the steering wheel as the wipers fought violently against the sheets of water. She wasn't supposed to be out here. No one was. The locals in Alderwood always said the eastern woods were different after midnight. Unsettled. Restless. But Tessa had never been one to back down from a challenge, especially not tonight. She was a paranormal investigator, though she would argue she was more of a documentarian of forgotten tragedies. Her channel had gained decent attention over the past 2 years, mostly because she didn't do jump scares or fake reactions. She told stories, real stories. And this time, she'd been invited. A letter had arrived 2 weeks earlier. Handwritten. No return address. The ghost cries every night. If you have the courage, come to Briar House. Come alone. At first she thought it was a joke, maybe a fan trying to get attention. But when she asked around online, people began whispering the name Briar House. A few old residents mentioned it with stiff expressions, and one refused to speak at all. So Tessa did what she always did, she followed the silence. Her car finally rolled to a stop before a towering structure swallowed by darkness. Briar House sat deep in the woods like a forgotten relic. The windows were tall, arched, and lifeless, the doors hung crookedly, vines strangled the walls. Yet, the moment she stepped out into the cold night air, she felt something else, an emotion so thick it pressed into her chest. Sadness. It was everywhere. Heavy, damp, and suffocating. Tessa flicked on her handheld camera and began filming. "This is Tessa Cole," she whispered, her breath visible in the cold air. Arrived at Briar House, time is 11:58 p.m. The original owner was a man named Alistair Briar, but no record of his death exists. Locals claim a ghost haunts the property, and a sound cut her off. A soft, distant sob. Tessa froze. The crying was faint, like a child muffling their grief into their hands. It came from inside the house. "Already," she muttered nervously. She pushed open the front door. It groaned like a wounded creature, then swung back with a slow, deliberate whine. The interior smelled of dust, rot, and something older. The faint crying echoed farther inside, drawing her like a tethered string. "Hello," she called. No reply, just the sobbing, soft and endless. Her flashlight beam danced over peeling wallpaper, broken furniture, and pictures whose faces were scratched out. But every corner of the house felt soaked in anguish. The crying grew louder as she approached the grand staircase. It was feminine, fragile, heartbroken. She climbed the stairs cautiously. Halfway up, the wailing stopped abruptly. The silence was worse. "Tessa Cole," she whispered into her recorder, "the crying has ceased." Continuing to the second floor. At the top of the stairs, moonlight filtered through dusty curtains. A long hallway stretched into darkness, lined with closed doors. The air vibrated with a low, mournful hum, like someone was still crying but too weak for her to hear. The first door she opened revealed nothing, just decay. The second held only broken furniture. But the third. When she opened the third door, a gust of icy air hit her. Her flashlight flickered. And there, sitting in the corner of the room, was a woman in a long gray dress. Her form was transparent yet shaped like someone solid. Her hair hung in tangled strands, and her shoulders trembled as she cried into her pale hands. Tessa slowly lowered her camera. "Hello, my name is Tessa. Can you hear me?" The ghost lifted her head slightly. Her face was streaked with endless tears, and her eyes, those hollow, shimmering eyes, carried centuries of grief. "You shouldn't be here," the ghost whispered without looking up. "I came because someone asked me to. I want to help," Tessa said. "There is no help for the dead," the ghost replied, resuming her weeping. Something in her voice cut deep. This wasn't the malicious wail of vengeful spirits Tessa had encountered before. This was raw, devastating heartbreak. "What happened to you?" Tessa asked gently. The ghost didn't answer. Instead, the room grew colder. The walls trembled softly. Shadows gathered in the corners like thickening smoke. The ghost clutched her knees tighter. "He took everything," she whispered. "Everything I loved. And now I cry because no one hears me. No one ever hears me." "I'm listening," Tessa said softly. "Tell me your name." The ghost hesitated. "Evelyn." The name lingered with a trembling sadness. Tessa took slow steps toward her. "What did Alistair Briar do to you?" At the mention of the name, Evelyn's crying shifted, deepened, almost a wail. "Alistair didn't kill me," she whispered. "I killed myself." Her voice cracked like shattered glass. Tessa swallowed hard. "Why?" Evelyn finally turned her full face toward Tessa. "Because I thought my son was dead." The house groaned around them. "Your son," Tessa breathed. Evelyn nodded. "He was 10. Bright, gentle. He loved the piano in the parlor. Alistair, my husband, he was a cruel man. But I never imagined he would hurt our boy. Tessa's pulse quickened. What happened to him? Evelyn's eyes darkened with agony. One night, I heard a scream. I ran. Alistair met me at the top of the stairs and he said our son had fallen. That he was gone. That I would never see him again. Her voice shook. I lost myself. I couldn't breathe. I threw myself from the attic window the next morning. A cold hush filled the room. But you said Alistair lied. He did. Evelyn's tears flowed faster. My son wasn't dead. He was alive. Alistair hid him from me. Took him away. Sold him. Tessa's chest tightened painfully. Oh, Evelyn. The ghost rocked back and forth. And now I cry. I cry because I abandoned him. I cry because I never found him. I cry because Alistair's cruelty stole my sanity, my motherhood, and my soul. Suddenly, heavy footsteps thundered down the hallway outside. The floorboards creaked. Something approached. Evelyn stiffened. He's here. Alistair, Tessa whispered. He keeps me here, Evelyn said, trembling. He keeps me crying. The footsteps grew louder, heavier, like the slow march of something enormous. Tessa stepped back toward the door, but Evelyn reached out suddenly, her ghostly fingers passing through Tessa's shoulder but attempting to grip her. Don't go. He doesn't like visitors. The doorknob twisted violently. Then the door blew inward with a deafening crack. A tall figure stood in the doorway, half shadow, half solid. A man with hollow eyes and a twisted smile. His presence filled the doorway like a living nightmare. His voice was a guttural growl. You brought her pain back, he snarled at Tessa. You shouldn't have come. Tessa stumbled back, her camera clattering to the floor. The figure advanced, the air vibrating with anger. Leave her alone, Evelyn cried. Alistair turned to her with a cruel smirk. You belong to me. A wind burst through the room, knocking Tessa into the wall. Her flashlight rolled away, plunging the room into flickering shadows. Evelyn's ghostly form rose slowly, no longer fragile, no longer trembling. Her sorrow shifted into something fiercer. You took everything from me, she whispered, voice trembling with rage. But not anymore. Alistair lunged toward her, and the room exploded with light, cold, brilliant, piercing light that forced Tessa to shield her eyes. She heard screams, one of fury, one of anguish, and then silence. When she opened her eyes, Evelyn was kneeling on the ground, breathing shallowly though she had no lungs. Alistair was gone. Completely gone. What did you do? Tessa whispered. I let go, Evelyn said softly. I let go of my fear. A peaceful calm fell over the room for the first time since Tessa arrived. Evelyn looked at her with those sorrow-soaked eyes. Thank you for listening, she whispered. For seeing me. A faint glow wrapped around her form. Her tears slowed, then stopped completely. Will you be free now? Tessa asked. Evelyn smiled weakly. There is one thing left. What is it? Find my son. Before Tessa could respond, Evelyn's form dissolved into faint shimmering light. The room warmed. The oppressive sadness began to fade. Tessa retrieved her camera and left the room in silence. She knew she should leave the house, drive away, and never look back. But she also knew she wouldn't. Evelyn's story wasn't finished. The crying ghost was gone, but her truth wasn't. As Tessa stepped outside into the clearing dawn, she looked back at Briar House. For the first time, it looked less like a prison and more like a place finally allowed to rest. She took a deep breath. I'll find him, she whispered. And somewhere in the wind, soft and grateful, she thought she heard Evelyn whisper back.